Well, within the first 24 hours of my One Piece video being up, we managed to get 25 views and 7 likes. So you know what that means. It's time for the Alabasta episode. Alright, so where we last left off in One Piece, the Straw Hats have exited the East Blue and are sailing up Reverse Mountain, which is a mountain that you sail upwards, and it's pretty crazy. I don't remember what the current's called, but that's how most pirates get to the Grand Line. And as the Straw Hats are going down the Grand Line, like into it, they're about to hit an iceberg, and they manage to barely dodge it. But as they get closer to this iceberg, it's revealed to be a big old whale, and the whale eats the ship, like the Mary, and we get our first arc of the Alabasta saga, which is Reverse Mountain, which is a pretty interesting arc. It's much more on the shorter side. It's one of the shorter arcs in One Piece. I think it might be the shortest. If it's either that or Romance Dawn, I think. But Reverse Mountain, it's short, it's simple. We meet an interesting character here, Crocus. We meet Crocus and Laboon, who is the name of the whale. And he's like made like the inside of Laboon like livable, like you can live inside the whale. I think that was pretty cool. We meet like two like minor enemies that like only like one's important. It's like Mr. All Father's Day and like Miss Wednesday. And they're with an agency called Baroque Works. So the crew leave Reverse Mountain. Crocus teaches them a little bit about how the Grand Line works. Because how the Grand Line works, you can't just sail from one island to the next like in the East Blue. Because the Grand Line is much more chaotic. And like the seas are like always shifting, and I think the islands move. I might not be so sure about that. So they have to. Crocus gives them a log pose to go to the next island. So they go to the next island, which is Whiskey Peak. From the looks of it, it's like a desert island with like really big cactuses on it. It's pretty cool looking. And you know, all the people here are really friendly. They welcome the Straw Hats with a nice big party. Everybody does like their hijinks. So night comes, everybody's asleep and passed out from partying too hard. And it's revealed that all the people there are bounty hunters and they're gonna kill the Straw Hats. But Zoro, being the GOAT, clutches up. We get the infamous Zoro versus 100 bounty hunters. It's legitness. Go watch it for yourself. It's also revealed that Nami's awake. And when Luffy wakes up, he's like, Zoro, what are you doing? These were our friends. They had us a party. No, Luffy, they're evil. They were trying to kill us. And they get in this goofy argument, like fight. It's supposed to be serious. A lot of people like it. I don't really care for it. Because it's not really taken seriously. And it's also around this fight we meet two more Baroque Work agents. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, I think that's it. Mr. Five has the Bomb fruit, and Miss Valentine has the Kilo fruit. The bomb fruit, whatever Mr. Five like touches, like he can make bombs basically. It's a very underrated devil fruit because he is a very shit user. Like bro's only signature attack is a booger bomb, and Miss Valentine is also kind of fodder. All she really does is just float up in the air and crush people. And it's also around this time that it's revealed that Miss Wednesday, the minor character I talked about earlier, she is a princess in the name of Nefertari Vivi, and she is traveling with her duck Karu, and it's revealed that a person on Whiskey Peak in disguise, his name's Ingram, or Enneagram. I think it's Ingram. He's like, Princess Vivi, Baroque works is on to you. You need to stay safe. And she's like, no, I'm gonna help the country. Trust me, bro. Nami overhearing this, she's like, oh, you're a princess. You must have a lot of money. You know, we could help if you pay us. And Vivi's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm gonna need like all the help I can get. So the crew set sail with Vivi. So the Straw Hat crew right now, it's Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Vivi, and Karu. Karu's the goat. I love Karu. So the next island is a really cool one. It is called Little Garden. It is an island that is stuck in the past. It's like a thick jungle where dinosaurs like roam around, and it makes for a pretty cool scene. We meet the villain of the arc. His name is Mr. 3. And he also has a pretty cool devil fruit. He has the wax fruit. I think it could be an underrated fruit, but I don't know. That might be for a different video one day. And his partner is Miss Golden Week. So the main like plot of this arc, Little Garden, the crew mainly split up. One thing this arc does that I dislike, this starts in my opinion, one of the worst running gags in all of One Piece. The Zoro versus Sanji like arguments. It's so stupid. It gets so annoying most of the time. It literally most of the time feels like they're just arguing just to like be on the screen. Like, I don't know. It gets annoying very fast to me. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has that problem. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but after Whiskey Peak, we're introduced to the baddest female. Not subjective, this is objectively the best looking female in the series to this day. So yeah, back to Little Garden. Little Garden, Zoro and Sanji, they go off to fight, like, hunt dinosaurs. They have like a competition to see who can get the biggest one. Usopp and Nami being like the scaredy cats because that's like their bit. They're like scaredy cats. They go off on their own adventure. And Luffy and Vivi and Karu go off and do their own thing. So Luffy's group and Usopp's group, they both run into giants. Luffy's crew runs into I think they run into Bragi, and Usopp's crew runs into Luffy's crew runs into Dory. Usopp's crew runs into Bragi. I think that's how you say his name, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I read Little Garden, but they meet these giants and they learn about like their backstory. And these giants were actually a part of a big pirate crew called the Giant Pirates, no pun intended. And what happened one day is that they both were hunting animals, and they were like, oh my gosh, whose prey is the biggest? And like this random little girl that was around, and she's like, I don't know. They look about the same to me. And that just like ruined everything for them, so they like left their crew to stay on this island, and like every day for like the past like I think it was like 100 years they fight, and it always ends in a tie. So they get ready to fight again. Around this time, Mr. 3 starts plotting his attack because he's not really like a assault kind of guy. He's more of a strategist. So what he does, he waits for the giants to start fighting, and he sabotages Bragi. and that makes Dory win. And with all this confusion, he kind of like traps everyone in wax. He traps both of the giants. He traps Zoro, Nami, Vivi, and like this like big wax statue. And Luffy's trying to help, but Miss Golden Week, she doesn't have a devil fruit, it's not confirmed, but she has an ability where she can put paint on things or people, and like they have to like go by that color's emotion. So like if she put blue on Luffy, he would be sad. It's kind of like that. So Luffy's trying to save him, but he keeps running into issues with that. So it's kind of just Usopp and Karu trying to carry for a little bit. But Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine come back, and that causes problems. So they're kind of all like dealing with that. Eventually, Usopp helps Luffy. Luffy locks in. Typical One Piece shonen. Luffy beats the bad guy. No, there's no like really anything crazy that happens. While this is happening though, Sanji is kind of just off in like the jungle, and he finds like Mr. 3's base, and he picks up like this transponder snail, which is One Piece telephones, and he's like, "Who is this?" And it's the leader of Baroque Works. Which, spoiler alert, by the way, it is a 7 warlord of the sea named Crocodile. Crocodile's like, "Oh, Mr. 3, you sound a little different." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." Yeah, if you came here for a good like recap of One Piece, you came to the wrong place, unfortunately. So the crew, they leave Little Garden, and it's revealed that Nami has caught like a really bad disease. So they have to stop. They have to make a pit stop at this island, Drum Island. It is a snowy island that like has really big mountains. It's called like the Drum Rockies. It's pretty cool. It's actually a really cool looking island. So they go to this island. They meet some side characters. They meet this man named Dalton, who is a part of like the Drum Island army. This is the first Zoan fruit we see in the series, and it is the bull fruit. He can transform into a bull. Zoan fruits, they can transform into animals or beasts. Right? There's also like mythological Zoans and like prehistoric Zoans. Zoans are pretty cool. So they hear rumors about a doctor or like a witch that lives on top of the Drum Rockies. And Luffy's like, "Alright, bet, I'm gonna go save my boys then." And Sanji's like, I'm going with you. So Luffy and Sanji, they start taking Nami up the mountain. And around this time, it's revealed that the villain of the arc is the evil king of the island, named Wapol. It's the evil king Wapol, which will cause problems later. Zoro doesn't really do anything for this arc. He kind of takes a major step back. Him and Karu just get into goofy shenanigans on the ship. Usopp and Vivi, they kind of just sit around town, also getting into like goofy shenanigans. Like I think Usopp like gets beaten up, like comedically. So yeah, Luffy and Sanji, they're going up the mountain. They get hit with an avalanche. Sanji gets knocked unconscious, and Luffy carries Nami and Sanji up the mountain by himself with like his hands and his mouth. He gets to the top. He passes out. Nami wakes up later, and she meets like this little reindeer doctor. His name's Tony Chopper. They meet Kureha, who is the evil witch of the island, but she's also like a good like doctor, and she like helped everybody, and Chopper's like her apprentice. Basically Luffy and Sanji and Nami, they take like a really hard liking to Chopper. And it's around this time we get Chopper's backstory, which is something I'm not going to talk about in this video because, in my opinion, Chopper's backstory is one of the first really, really good moments in One Piece, and I do not want to spoil it in case anyone wants to go check it out. So I'm going to leave this completely spoiler free. I'm not going to talk about it. I would recommend watching it. Even if you don't want to watch One Piece, I would still recommend looking up Chopper's backstory on YouTube. I'm sure it's there somewhere. So we learned about Chopper. He's got a pretty sad backstory, but a really good one. And, you know, Luffy fights Wapol. We see Chopper fight, like, Wapol's underlings. Chopper has a unique fighting style where he eats these things called rumble balls and can transform. I think at this point he had access to something called Arm Point. Deer Point. Yeah, that's all I remember off the top of my head. So they beat Wapol. The island is saved. And, you know, Luffy invites Chopper to the crew. He's like, hey, why don't you come with me? And he's like, no, I don't want to. He goes off. Kureha's like, oh, why don't you go join him? I don't want you anyway. You're useless. You're not a good doctor. He cries. He goes with him. It's like a big moment. He cries. Yeah, and that's it for the Drum Island arc. It's a really good one. But also, Drum Island is really good. Don't get me wrong, and I think I'm gonna get some slack for this. But Drum Island, in my opinion, I think is the most overrated arc in One Piece. If it's not the most overrated, it is definitely top 5 most overrated. It's mainly, I think this whole arc is kind of boring, and I think a lot of people just like to like it because it has Chopper's backstory. And, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't think one little bit of a story can carry the whole story. So, the crew leaves for Alabasta. They finally make it. It's like this big desert island. You know, it's pretty nice. On the way there, they meet a man called Bon Clay, who is also a part of Baroque Works, but he's actually really chill. And he has something called he has a devil fruit called the Clone fruit, where he can disguise himself, like, flawlessly as other people. I think it's like if he touches you with his left hand, and he puts his right hand on his face, and he transforms into that person. And he can also do it with, like, body parts as well, like it is not just the face. So they meet him, he sails away. They get to Alabasta, it's a desert island. Pretty much when they get there, Luffy runs into Smoker. But Luffy also runs into his older brother, Portgas the Ace, one of the biggest bums in fiction. Ace is a bum. I don't care what anyone says. He might be hot, but he's a bum. So yeah, Ace is like, hey Luffy, how you doing? He's like, oh Ace, what's up, bro? Why don't you join me now? Why don't you join the Whitebeard Pirates? Nah, I'm good. I want to be my own captain. And he's like, oh yeah, word, and just leaves. But of course, you know, this is One Piece. This is a shonen anime. Everyone's got an ore farm eventually. And Ace leaves and he takes out like 4 pirate ships, like Baroque Work ships with him. So the crew, they start traversing through the Alabasta deserts, trying to get to the capital. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, we're like occasionally cutting to the villains of Baroque Works, like what's left. It's Mr. Zero, who's Crocodile, Nico Robin, who is Miss All Sunday. She's the GOAT. Love Nico Robin. Mr. One. Mr. One's partner. Don't remember her. Miss Doublefinger, that's her name. Mr. 1, Miss Doublefinger. Mr. 2, Mr. 2 doesn't have a partner. Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas, I think that's her name. I think so. So it's these 7. It's going to be these guys versus the Straw Hats. So the crew, they kind of just go around Alabasta. They go to like this old village Vivi would hang out in. It's all dried up. They made this man from Vivi's past who's like digging for water. And I think like this, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I think the man digging for water is a good symbolism for like, like hoping for the future. Like he's out there digging every day. Like imagine this, it's a war-torn country. Nothing's guaranteed anymore. But yet he's still going to dig for water because he has love for the country. Like he knows it's going to give it to him eventually. And, he's just hoping. It's hope for the future, in my opinion. So the crew, they get to the capital of Alabasta. I think the capital city was named, like, Alabasta. So they get there. The big moment started to happen. Luffy goes to fight Crocodile. I guess we start with the lesser fights. Because Alabasta's fights are all really good, in my opinion. We have Usopp and Chopper versus Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas. It is a really good tag team battle with a nice bit of comedy in it, where like Usopp like pulls out like the 5-ton hammer and it's like a balloon with like pans in it. The next fight we have Nami versus Miss Doublefinger. This is like Nami's first real dedicated 1v1, and it was one hell of a one to start with. Nami gets messed up, but she clutches up because she's also a goat. Sanji versus Bon Clay. It's a pretty good fight. It has like a little level of goofiness, but it's still good. It's good goofy. Zoro versus Mr. 1. This is one of Zoro's best fights. I will die on this hill. And in this fight, Zoro learns to cut metal. It's a really good fight. And then we have Luffy versus Crocodile. Luffy fights Crocodile multiple times through Alabasta. I think in total they fight 3 times, and the 3rd time they beat him. He beats him. The first time Crocodile beats him, he stabs him through the chest. Somehow survives though. But keep in mind, this is One Piece. Every character has plot armor. The second time they fought, Crocodile escaped to go find the poneglyph. And in the last fight, they fight in the old ruins of the kingdom. And eventually it starts crashing down. Luffy literally beats Crocodile into the ceiling of the underground, and he goes flying out, he hits goes through the whole ground. Even the king says something where he's like, holy shit, that's a lot of stone to be going through. So Luffy saves the king, and he saves Nico Robin. She's like, please, I have nothing to live for, please just leave me. And Luffy picks her up and saves her. So yeah, they defeat Crocodile. It's all good. Post saga celebration. The crew's like, Vivi, you're joining us, right? Come on, let's go. And Vivi's like, alright, I'll have my decision by tomorrow, I swear. And we all know the big iconic moment. This is arguably one of One Piece's most iconic moments. Vivi has her speech. It's pretty good. Around this time, it is also revealed that Nico Robin has snuck on the ship, and everyone's all surprised, ooh, what are you doing here? They say, and she just looks at him, and she's like, well, your captain saved me, and I had nowhere else to go. And they kind of just accept her, which, low-key, I completely understand that. I would also accept a Betty like her if she appeared. But yeah, just like that, the saga of Alabasta is over. I know I didn't do a good job explaining it all, But then again, the whole point of this video series isn't to talk like recap. I just want to just generally talk about this stuff. Now I will go over things I like about the Alabasta saga. The Grand Line, number one, the Grand Line. The Grand Line is a really cool concept. Like every island being so unique, full of different things, having different themes, seasons, and whatnot. It is so cool. Like, honestly, it is one of the coolest things about One Piece. I think it makes the world so much more unique compared to other pieces of fiction. But at the same time, Oda, outside of the Alabasta saga, like going forward, like we don't really get like weird islands anymore. It's kind of just like, how do I put this? It's very rare we get like weird islands like Little Garden and Drum Island again. Like going here, like every island is somewhat normal. I mean, like excluding stuff like Skypiea, obviously, because it's a sky island. Water 7's pretty normal. Long Ring Long Land is, Long Ring Long Land's pretty unique, I'd say. Saba Odi's unique. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong about that. But I know post time skip, it gets a lot worse as the islands. Most of the post time skip islands, in my opinion, aren't really unique or don't have like the pre time skip charm, I guess. I mean, Whole Cake is cool, but sure. What else? I really liked a lot of the characters that get introduced in this saga. Bon Clay, Nico Robin, Chopper is really cool. Chopper is really cool when he's first introduced. And I guess that's another thing, like I'll go off on the tangent about. This isn't talked about enough, but the massacre of Chopper needs to be studied. Like, I know, like, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, I'm, like, stupid, because Chopper didn't get massacred. Yes, he did. Chopper was so much more cooler when he was, like, plump and fat, and now he's just, a marketizing tool. He's a marketable plushie. That's actually what happened to him. He basically, I think Nami put him on Ozempic so they can start marketing him more. What else? I think Baroque Works was a really good, interesting group of villains, and I think this is the first One Piece villains that were, like, really intrigued me. I mean, the Arlong Pirates were okay, it's just Baroque Works were just a lot better. Smoker and Tashigi come back a lot in this arc, like throughout the whole saga, honestly, and they play a little bit of a role in Alabasta. What else? What else is, I like Crocus. Crocus and Laboon is W. That's a big W. Yeah, I think that's it for like the big likes. What are some dislikes? Like I said, I think Drum Island, a majority of it, is a pretty boring arc. I don't really like a lot of Drum Island. I think it's mostly forgettable, except for Chopper's backstory. I think that's the main reason a lot of people like it. I think if Drum Island didn't have Chopper in it, and if it was just the crew going to see Kureha, it would be on like the lesser scale of like people's favorite arcs. But yeah, I actually don't really have many dislikes with like this saga. Like overall, this was a really good saga. Everything I liked about the East Blue saga was much improved on during this saga, and I think it's fire. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. Kind of like with the last video, part 3, we're gonna have to beat a like goal. I'm thinking 10 likes. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll make a video on the Skypiea saga. Maybe we'll hit 10 likes within the first 24 hours, maybe we won't. But if we don't, regardless, I'll see you guys in the next one.